Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today and possibly for the next week and a half or so, I'm going to be working on this machine here, which is a Kioritz. It's a Japanese machine, possibly about 40 years old. Very interesting machine because it's got a condenser and contact points as well, which I will show you during the repair. When Kioritz moved across to America, they opened in America about 40 years ago as well, they eventually changed the name to Echo. So if you see Echo with the same number, it's exactly the same company and the same machine. So thank you, let's get started. That's the part number over there. I've actually taken the spark plug out because I do not have a spark, and I think it could be the condenser, so we'll have a look. So the first thing I'm going to do is just confirm that there is definitely no spark. So as you can see, there was definitely no spark on that spark plug. Now I'm just going to take it out and we can just test it. So now on my multimeter, I'm going to turn the dial to the ohms, and I'm going to make it on 20k, which is 20,000 ohms. So now I am going to be putting the black lead onto that part over there, and I'm going to put the red lead onto the little electrode, which you can barely see, but it comes out in the middle there. And the red lead on the electrode. And I'm not getting anything at all. So I think this spark plug might be shot. And just to double check, I'm going to get a piece of sandpaper and I'm going to clean that electrode because it does look a little bit dirty. That might be the problem. Okay, I was mistaken. This one seems to be good. Here is the spark plug which I've just taken out the machine, which I've just tested. It is a Colton LR17A. Part number is written on the side, also written it down there. I have since found out that that's not the correct spark plug for the machine. This is the one here, BM6A, and you'll see the difference is that there's an R there and there's no R here. R stands for resistor, which is inside the spark plug, and it actually suppresses the spark, so it doesn't have such an erratic spark. That's why most motor cars have a resistor on their spark plug. Otherwise it messes up with the radio and other electronics. This is the correct spark plug, BM6A. When I read the resistance with my multimeter, this one over here, if I remember correctly, was about 4.6 thousand ohms, and all spark plugs with an R in it should be between 4 and 8,000 ohms. And you can see by not having a resistor in there, you will only have a resistance of 1 till 2,000 ohms. So you will have a much stronger spark over here. So as you can see, I've bought this spark plug over here, exactly the same one, and now I'm going to use my multimeter to test the resistance. So that is very little resistance, and that means a much stronger spark. Now that we know there's no issue with the spark plug, I'm just going to remove these 4 screws and take off the housing with the starter rope. I'm now just going to take off the little springs over here. If it doesn't come off easily, you can just put the nut back on again. And just give it a little tap with a hammer. And now you can see why this is such a unique machine. Here's a condenser, here's the coil, and at the bottom over here are a set of contact points. Now what I'm going to do now is take out this condenser. You can actually see that there are two wires. One wire goes down to a connection over here. This brown wire goes to the coil. There's another wire over here that goes behind the coil, and it goes all the way up to the switch on the top, which is the on-off switch. Okay, that is halfway out. So now we're going to test the condenser. First thing you do is get your multimeter and put it onto 20 ohms, which is 20 mega ohms, which is 20 million ohms. It's supposed to start low and then go up to 1, and 1 is actually infinity. So let's try that again. So now this is the one from my car, and I'm going to touch the red lead onto the side. I think I might get a better reading like that. Touch the red lead there and the black lead on the end. Now I'm going to test the one that's actually still on the machine. So actually nothing wrong with that. To test the coil, make sure your multimeter is set to 20,000 ohms, and to get a good contact, make sure that your surface over here of this metal part is nice and clean. You can actually give it a little bit of a sand. Then you can touch either the black or the red wire from the multimeter. It doesn't make any difference. You touch it on that metal part over there, and the other wire you can touch inside the spark plug boot. Everything seems to be fine, except one thing which I have noticed is if I touch the black lead onto the coil, onto the metal part, and then I touch the inside of the spark plug, sometimes I actually don't get a proper reading. Got to wiggle it around a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to spray the cable with a bit of oil. So it's obvious that this little spring is not making a good contact. So I'm going to take it out and I'm going to try and expose the central wire. So it's made up of quite a few different strands of wire. I've separated them. I'm going to put the spring right in the middle, trying to hold it in place. And then I'm going to twist this wire around. And then with my awl, I'm going to be making a new hole round about there. And then this little piece of wire that is left over, I'm going to see if I can wind it around. And now to check that I have a good connection, put my multimeter on 20K, black lead onto the coil, and the red lead I will just touch the side of that, and I'm getting a perfect reading. So my connection is perfect. So after connecting these little wires, I can now put the flywheel back on. Now I just have to put the new spark plug in and connect it up. Thankfully it's long enough after my repair.